This hobby is growing super fast, and as it grows, there's gonna be newcomers coming in. But to get you guys started, there are 4 things that I wish I knew before I started collecting, but let me save you guys some time and go over those 4 starting right now. Number 1 to note about this hobby is that these are limited editions. So unlike some of the other hobbies that you might be used to when it comes to die-cast, such as Hot Wheels, Mattel, things like that, these are not produced in the masses. Sometimes there's only a couple thousand, maybe even less than that, just depending on what the brands want to do. But one of the things to note that if there's something that you really want to get, it's a great idea to get it as soon as you can. Now, don't overextend yourself. If you can't spend the money on it, don't do it. But just know that once these release and they sell out, they're gone. You're gonna have to go to secondary resources and maybe even some of the scalpers just to be able to get what you want. And then you're gonna wanna wish that you got it at the pre-order time instead of paying double. So keep in mind that these are limited releases, but be also cognizant at collecting at your own pace. And this brings us to number 2, which is actually budgeting wisely. Now, you might get bombarded with all the different types of die-cast, resin model cars, all the price points from $15 all the way up to $100. And if you don't budget wisely, things are going to get quickly out of control. And with any hobby, whether it's modifying your own cars in real life, things can get out of control very fast. Never put yourself in high-risk situations for any type of hobby. Be mindful about the things that you need to take care of first before jumping into some of these extra things that you want to do. But just make sure that, hey, we all have to have hobbies, so set aside some money to be able to enjoy the things that you want and display some of these model cars with joy. Number 3 is going to bring us to space requirements. So in terms of buying everything that you can and trying to get all your favorites, one of the things that is a major challenge is the space, especially when you're trying to collect 18 scale, 43 scale, 64 scale. You need to figure out what scale is going to be right for you. Now, do you like the big stuff with smaller details? Maybe the best thing to do is not get as many. However, if you're a collector of a certain make, model, or brand, things can get pretty crazy for you, but I'm hoping that you've got these space requirements to do that. 64 scale, obviously you can get a lot of these and fit it in a tight space, because the last thing we want to do is bring in the Hot Wheels mentality of getting as many as we can and storing them in boxes that you can't even see through and then putting them up in your attic, in your basement, or in some closet. This is a hobby that certainly does not deserve to be in plastic bins and be tucked away. These are definitely meant to be shown off and shared with everybody to let them know that you've got something special, high quality, and definitely unique. And the last thing, and this is something that I do preach a lot, are licensed products and unlicensed products. One of the biggest hardships within this die-cast hobby is trying to mitigate what's good, what's not good, what brands are doing things illegally, what brands are not doing their due diligence. Now, while some may say that, hey, it's a hobby, who cares if they've got a license? Me personally, from an ethical standpoint, I stand behind brands that do their due diligence to make sure that they're putting out a legitimate product. Something that obviously caters to some of the values that some collectors might have. That goes the same for anything, right? So like if you're collecting Disney stuff, you probably want legit Disney stuff if you're a hardcore collector of that. If you're modifying your car, maybe you'd rather save your money, get high quality, legitimate wheels from Work Wheels instead of XXR wheels. It just depends on the person. But to me, I think it's important to note, at least know the difference, even if you are going to go one way or the other with licensed products. So licensed products are going to mean, is it licensed by Toyota? Is it licensed by Nissan, Honda, things like this? Is it licensed with the aftermarket companies that they're collaborating with, like HKS, Top Secret, things like that? And one of the biggest ways that these brands try to do it is they try to exploit others and capitalize on their wallets and their hard-earned money. My job is to make sure I try to not bring this stuff in and educate you as much as possible. And much like the political climate, a lot of it is fake and nonsense. And also be careful where you shop, where you might find a lot of these brands available. But question of the day for you guys, what are some other ones besides these that you wish you would have known before you started collecting in this hobby space? Let us all know down in the comments so we can all talk about it. And if you enjoyed this video, I've got some awesome other videos in the next slide that you can take a look at. Perfect for beginners. I'll see you in that video or my next video.